Well, our year 2017 is rapidly coming to a close, is it not? We just had our celebration of our Thanksgiving this last week on Thursday, and my Louise Hay calendar that you tear off its page at a day is getting pretty darn skinny. There are not too many pages left anymore. I have to literally lick my finger to grab a hold of it because it's way down in there. This month we have been focusing on, let the bells ring, focusing on Pam Grout's Think and Grow Rich book. And it's a fun one. I really invite you to go on Amazon or wherever you get your books and pick it up for yourself because it's a fun one. She was one of the primary speakers at the last Anton conference that I went to in October at Unity Village. And her book, E Squared, shot her up into the bestseller list. And she's been writing for years and years and years, decades. And finally to have a bestseller, and of course, once you're a bestseller, you know what happens to subsequent books. They are landing right there as well. So I'm really enjoying her book, and the byline at the bottom is a 30-day experiment in shameless gratitude and unabandoned joy. So that's what this book is all about. And it is amazing when you think about the attitude adjustment that we can make. As I put in my thought for the week, Byron Katie has been doing some self-inquiry for quite a while, and she has these 4 questions, and she calls it the work. And Pam Grout has the self-inquiry process that she uses, but she calls it the play. Now, which one would you rather do? And she has all sorts of, and today's message is actually called Party On, and it's because she has 27 different party games that she puts in the book, and basically what they are different ways of feeling your gratitude, of expressing your gratitude, of playing with this truth that we are. And of course, our teaching, Science of Mind teaching, says that there is this one power and presence. It is all there is. It's divine, it's whole, it's perfect, it's complete, it's joy, it's free. All of those things. And that's what we are. We are it. It's all there is. So that's us. That's what we do. And but our humanness has the ability to create or co-create our world by the thoughts that we think. This world that we see in physical form is first generated and created in spiritual form. And in spiritual form, that's our thoughts. We can't see a thought. If you look in the comic strips, you'll see a little light bulb, drawn. That's the thought. And so our thoughts in that energy that's in the unseen realm create our physical existence, our physical experience. Associated with that, though, are our feelings that come with it. So our thoughts create our feelings, that create our words, that create our actions. And that's how we are participating in this thing called life. And so and of course, the first thing that if we're going to look at our environment, of our world, our relationships, our work, whatever it is, if we look at it and we aren't that happy with it, we'd like to make a change in it, make it better somehow, that's a good thing. Because what we're doing is we're aware. We're starting with the first thing, which is our awareness. Wow, how did I create all of this? Okay, I'm going to take onus on it. Somehow or another, I had something to do with it. Now I have the choice, I have the responsibility to be able to make a change, to bring it up. And so when, a lot of times we don't know what we're thinking. Ever feel that way? What was I thinking? And yet, if we recognize our feelings, that gives us a clue. Our feelings will give us a clue as to what we've been thinking. If I'm unhappy, if I am sad, if I am hurt by someone else's actions, by something that someone did to me or to someone else, I can choose to stay there in that hurt feeling, in that criticism type of feeling, or I can choose to bless them, to bless me, to let it go, to say that was then, this is now, and to move on from there. Because we are the ones that are perpetuating the game of poor pitiful me, the game of they did it wrong, the game of, you know, can't anybody else do it right but me. And you're smiling because all of us have played that game. It's not foreign to any of us, self included. And so if we take this attitude, like Pam Grout is teaching us that, hey, you know, lighten up. This life, this earth is a party planet. That's quoting Edwin Gaines. And actually, Pam Grout is a Unity person, so I'm sure she's very familiar with the Unity minister, Edwin Gaines. And one of her big things is, you know, Earth is a party planet. And so it's our blessing, our responsibility to lighten up, to accept this joy that we live in. And that each of us has that responsibility for ourselves. We can't change anybody else. We can change ourselves to create that energy, that frequency of happiness, of joy, of lightness. We always have that choice. We have the choice I have down here. Today I'm going to move from what is wrong to what is wonderful. It's a little nuance, but boy, will it make a difference. From what is wrong to what is wonderful. And nothing else has to change. It's just our perspective. And in her book, she talks about, oh no, this wasn't from her book. This is from another situation of story that I found that illustrates how life can change when we make a conscious choice. And it was entitled The Power of Blessing. And it talks about a grocer, guy who runs a grocery store, went to his guru one day and in great distress told him that right across the street from his shop, there is a huge chain store just going in, just opening up. And this would surely drive him out of business. And he was just so very concerned. His family had owned this shop for a century, and now, on his watch, he was going to lose it. What was he going to do? It's going to be his undoing. And there's nothing else that he could do. That's what he is a grocer. What's going to happen to me? And his guru said to him, if you fear the owner of the chain store, you will hate him. And it is hatred that will be your undoing. Well, what should I do? The grocer said. Each morning, walk out of your shop onto the sidewalk. Give thanks for and bless his shop, accepting for it prosperity. Then turn to face did I say his shop? His own shop, his own shop. Look at my own shop. Bless your shop, okay? Accepting it as prosperity. Then turn and face the chain store and do the same thing for it. And he said, what? Be grateful for and bless my competitor and destroyer? Are you crazy? The gratitude and blessing that you give him will rebound as your good. Any evil you wish him will destroy you. That song that we sing, as I give, so do I receive. After 6 months, the grocer returned to report that he had to close down his shop after all. But he was now in charge of the chain store. And his life was in a better shape than it ever had been before. It's amazing what gratitude, what blessing will accomplish in this life. And it's things that we are not aware of in this finite being, in this time-bound energy that we're living in. We can't see the end result of the blessings that we give forth today, the genuine blessings we give forth today, not blessing it because I'm going to get something for it, but truly allowing this infinite energy to freely flow. So I wanted to share with you on page 72, she has something, oh, here's my note. Oh, yeah? And he was a grocer? Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess this was his story then. Cool. You see? Yeah. And then, that reminds me of that other story about the people who owned the hair salon, and then the big hair salon came in across the street from them. And what are we going to do? What are we going to do? They're giving $5 haircuts, mine are 15 or whatever it was at the time. And then they just put up the sign that said, "We fix $5 haircuts." So there's always an infinite angle to give our best. So I wanted to share with you on page 72, she's saying, oh gosh, I was going to ask somebody how to say that word. When I get thank you. Okay, when I get there, you can say it. Oh, amassing alchemic capital. The bliss, the wisdom, the creativity, the laughter, the friendships, the joy, the serenity, and the peace that have been, for the most part, seen as an impossible dream will become your most ordinary state of being. That's a quote from The Way of Mastery. She goes on to say, more than any other book on counting blessings, this is a book about climate change. Changing the climate of your energy field, upgrading the resonance with which you perceive the world. Practicing gratitude more than penciling a written list is a practice alchemy. Looking for the good in life literally changes things, physically changes things, financially changes things, mentally and emotionally changes things. It literally rearranges atoms and reconfigures molecules. Cynics like to discount gratitude, downgrade it as sweet, nice, something for naive Pollyannas. What I've discovered is that living on the frequency of joy and gratitude causes classic reverberations. So when we lighten up, we enjoy life, whatever is looking at us. And so game number 3, she has 27 of these games. Game number 3 is entitled, Shake Your Pom-Poms at Dang Near Everything. Don't you get the mental picture there? So she says, this is the game of the art of allowing. This game is to practice recognizing whatever is in front of you, even if it's a broken down car, a feisty 2-year-old, or a giant tax bill, is something you've called forth. Acknowledging that something within you vibrates in tune with this other. Rather than taking steps to flee it or change it, you have to first allow it. You have to bless it. You have to go so far as to call it good. Freedom and power come in choosing to bless with gratitude every single thing that shows up. Anything you refuse to embrace and fully bless imprisons you. I want to read that last sentence again. Anything you refuse to embrace and fully bless imprisons you. Do you want to be free? Of course. That's our natural state. That is what we are hardwired with, is freedom of love. And to me, when we find ourselves in that constricted state, the choice at that moment is forgiveness. Forgiveness. And normally, usually, the person, the individual, the self that we are forgiving is, number one, ourself. Foreseeing the wrong. Now, granted, there are times when people will do something to us that is not to our desire, not to our liking. And that's one thing, unless we're a doormat and we let them keep doing it. Because we have when I was at my retreat at Martha's, remember I gave you this little scenario that somebody keeps, you don't want to be a doormat. And so we have this power within ourselves to, we open up our left hand, and that says, I'm open and receptive, correct? And then when we put out our right hand, and I'll take no shit. So we have that choice to say no. Don't let yourself be run over time and time again by someone or something. You have the power to say no and move in a new direction. But really that's what forgiveness is letting go of the wrong, of the ignorance of yourself or someone else, and just letting it be. You know, we're the ones that just keep all the energy retelling the story, you know, and whoa, it was so darn wrong, and woe is me, and of course, that's what we're going to get more of. That is not a freeing thing to do. We are literally putting ourselves in prison. Every time we see what is wrong with someone else. We always know about the pointing, correct? The one finger out and, oh gee, 3 back to me. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman Empire, said, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself in your own way of thinking. Bill Gates said that it's fine to have the goal of having the $1 million. He said, but much after that, it's the same hamburger. We can be happy with our lives just as they are, because we are literally hardwired for this infinite life. That's what we are, you see. We're living an infinite life. Well, doesn't that make you happy? That should make you do the party dance. I don't know. I haven't finished Pam's book. I haven't gone through all of the parties yet, but I'm eager to, you know, go through them and see what more I can do. In the thought for the week, I said the one where before you throw off the covers, you know, yes, something amazing is happening today. Yes. Now, Pam Grout, I said she's been a writer for many, many years. Well, now her publisher is Hay House. So she had been able to spend some personal, individual time with Louise Hay. And she said Louise Hay was just the icon of gratitude. I mean, every day, you know, she said as before she would get up out of bed, she would bless her pillow, and she'd be grateful for her covers, and, you know, and then when she'd get out of bed, you know, and she'd shuffle to the bathroom, she's grateful for her legs getting her there. And we can do the same thing. We can be totally grateful for all these little tiny things that are happening in life, just as they are. One of the things that she suggested is that you can pretend you're on vacation. You know, what's the attitude? What's the climate that's around you when you're on vacation? Isn't it fun? It's exciting. It's like, okay, what's new is going to happen. I'm on an adventure, even if I'm not lost. I'm on an adventure, right? And so we can do that in our minds. She was saying, like, if you're standing in line at the grocery store, I could be standing in line at the grocery store on my lunch hour to pick something up, and I could pretend I'm in Hawaii. I'm standing in line at the grocery store in Hawaii. Well, their grocery stores look like my grocery stores, right? I could just pretend that I'm in the grocery store in Hawaii. And then, you know, when I get my little food, I go back to my desk to eat it, I can pretend that I'm sitting in Hawaii. Ooh, ooh. Now see, now I can hum that song. Now I can do my little work, but I'm mentally experiencing Hawaii. I am on vacation. We had that choice, literally. So I wanted to share with you what she wrote here on page 86. What did that say? Oh, this is so cool. This is a good story. So she says, we create a resonant field that blocks the magical realm where things work themselves out without our input. Once you tune into the joy channel, 100% of your energy becomes available. There's no extra buildup, no white noise to block truth, with a capital T. That's when your whole view of life begins to change. Once the resistance is dissolved, you get to choose if you wish to continue or start a new adventure. She talks about this fellow, my friend Jay, told a story that perfectly illustrates what can happen when we don't create static in our frequency. He accidentally left his garage door opener in a rental car. He called the rental agency only to be told that the car had already been re-rented. And no, they hadn't noticed his garage door opener. He could have gotten frazzled, especially since he was due to meet a friend for lunch and had left his credit card at the bar that wouldn't open for 3 more hours. On top of that, his 4-year-old son, Emmett, picked the particular moment to pitch a fit. And you imagine all of this. This is our life, right? This isn't foreign to any of us. Jay knelt down, calmly dealt with Emmett, feeling nothing but love and gratitude, even for the presumable lost garage door opener and the credit card he needed to pay for lunch. I don't know why, but I just stayed grateful, trusted that all was well, Jay said. He stopped at his bank to retrieve some cash, since his card was missing in action. And there, sitting in the parking lot, was the very car in which he had left his garage door opener. An older gentleman was standing beside it, talking on the phone. Jay asked him, "Is this your car?" "It's my son's. He's in the bank." Jay explained what happened and asked if he could take a peek inside. With garage door opener in hand, Jay got an intuitive hit to go ahead and run by the bar where he had left his credit card, even though it wouldn't open for a couple more hours. Sure enough, the owner was sitting outside also on his phone. "You're really lucky," he told Jay. "I usually don't get here until 3, but I came early today to meet my carpet cleaner." Jay, of course, knew it wasn't luck, just further proof that magic is always afoot as long as we don't create problems to block it. This infinite universe is working through and for us on our behalf all the time if we don't create the static, if we don't create the white noise that blocks it out. And it's not just separate from us, guys. We are it. It needs us to express itself through us, as us, at every moment. It's an infinite being that is always evolving, always changing, always becoming and revealing more of itself. And that's what we are. So you have your homework this week. You have lots of ways, lots of ideas to wake up in the morning and pump your fist and say, "Yes, this is a great day. Thank you, thank you, pillow." And remember that this is a gift of life, that we have the privilege of being in a beautiful, joyful, infinite, free, loving way. Ooh. we can be wherever we want to be. And so it is. Namaste.